This one's wife. Bag me a Bezos billionaire or a Zuck. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife somehow managed to bag herself an invitation, possibly last minute, to Kris Jenner's 70th birthday bash, which had a 007 James Bond theme. This one's wife and Harry turned up, and it's an event that naturally appealed to this one's wife. I'm going to give you a brief run through of some of the other attendees, which included Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Kourtney Kardashian. They were there. That also in attendance was Mariah Carey. That Paris and Nikki Hilton attended. Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King. They were also there. The singer Adele with her husband Rich Paul. That Kris Jenner's longtime toy boy Corey Gamble was in attendance. I'd not heard of him either. Somebody called Niecy Nash, who is on the Ryan Murphy legal drama All's Fair, was in attendance as well. Naomi Watts and Sarah Paulson attended. Martha Stewart was there. No doubt she had a good laugh, provoking this one's wife in relation to her shitty Potemkin business. Snoop Dogg made sure that he was there. NBA love rat Tristan Thompson. Don't know who he is, but he was in attendance also. Somebody called Jonathan Cheban, who was the food god. He was in attendance. Paris and Nikki Hilton's mother, Kathy Hilton, was also at the event. Vin Diesel was there. Tony Braxton, who I think sang Unbreak My Heart all those years ago. Bill Gates turned up. Tyler Perry was there. Kimora Lee Simons. Black Eyed Peas icon will.i.am. Actress Selma Blair. Babyface, whoever that is. Teyana Taylor. Sia also was there. And Mark Zuckerberg, along with his wife Priscilla Chan. Justin Bieber also rocked up, although he didn't bother wearing a tie. So quite the list of famous and wealthy individuals there. All of this would have had this one's wife near fizzing with inner excitement as the consequence of being associated with all of these individuals. Remember, her narcissism tells her that she belongs with this group, that they are her people. And yet, when you go through that list, not all, but many of them are famous as a consequence of their own abilities. They've built up media empires. They have produced lots of films. They were involved in creating a massive tech empire or social media empire. And it all took place at Jeff Bezos' house. He allowed Kris Jenner to host from there, and one assumes that Bezos and Lauren Sanchez were also in attendance also. A plethora of famous names, and some very wealthy individuals to boot as well, particularly in the likes of Gates, Bezos, and Zuck. Accordingly, for this one's wife, first of all, there's character trait acquisition. She believes that she belongs with these people, and the association with them is ratified by her narcissism, because her narcissism tells her that these are the type of people that she should be seen with, because she's like them. But she's not, is she? She's certainly famous, or perhaps more accurately, infamous. But that wasn't gained as a consequence of the establishment of some kind of cooking and lifestyle empire a la Martha Stewart, or the production of many films a la Tyler Perry, or the creation of a huge software company a la Bill Gates. No, that was because she married a dim-witted ginger prince. She's nowhere near as wealthy of many of these individuals, and her wealth has originated from, yes, the man that she married. Accordingly, she really is just a mediocre individual that is there as a +1. Harry probably was the one that got the invitation as a consequence of the fact that he's real royalty, even, of course, though he is estranged from the royal family at present. and that he would be the one injecting that royal aspect, that most other people wouldn't care for the attendance of this one's wife, given her shitty reputation and the fact that she's only scrambled into the place that she has by virtue of her marriage. Now, there are other people that have attended who were there as plus ones of the famous people, but they will not have been as full of themselves as the way that this one's wife is. But what's also interesting is that it is this kind of event that this one's wife would have no hesitation in attempting to try and find a new individual to replace Harry. Remember, Harry's in the sustained devaluation, which means that this one's wife's narcissism tells her, when he's in this sustained devaluation, that he's useless, that he's hopeless. This allows her to have the mindset to seek out a replacement. And the fact that she's at a place where there are many men, and certain of them particularly wealthy, money being a hugely important residual benefit to the somatic narcissist, increases the possibility of her engaging in flirtation. Because she's a narcissist, she doesn't recognise the boundary that, for instance, Jeff Bezos is married. Now, Bezos isn't going to be interested in someone like this one's wife. He prefers the more pneumatic sex doll look. You only have to look at Lauren Sanchez. And it's rumoured that he also enjoys three-ways with Lauren Sanchez and another woman. I can't see that he would want to involve the skin and bones that is this one's wife in such a tryst. This one's wife, of course, would have no hesitation in throwing herself at Jeff Bezos, right under the nose of Lauren Sanchez, although Sanchez naturally would be doing her predatory best to ensure that this one's wife would be kept well distant from her husband, probably well aware of her reputation. Bill Gates might have found himself coming under some scrutiny from this one's wife. He, of course, split up from his wife some time ago and was divorced, and I'm not aware of him having anybody else, although it's likely that she's a bit too old for him. Apparently Gates has younger tastes. There's also the Zuck. He managed to put the old skin suit on over his lizard self, but he was there with Priscilla Chan, his wife, and I doubt that she would tolerate any involvement from this one's wife. But it wouldn't stop her trying to bag a billionaire, whether it's Bezos, Gates, or the Zuck, because she simply doesn't care about the fact that two of those individuals are in existing relationships, because she doesn't recognise the boundary. Furthermore, she doesn't give a rat's ass about Harry and how upset he might be, because she has no emotional empathy for him, and he's in the sustained devaluation, so he's regarded as unreliable and useless. She will naturally, because the only weapon that she has is to be flirtatious and use sexuality. After all, she's not going to hold your attention with any kind of sparkling analysis of the political scene in the United States, or reel off a load of great jokes that have you rolling in the aisles. No, not at all. This one's wife has to rely on sex as a means to draw men to her, but she has a problem there. Her looks are fading, and her reputation precedes her. And if she was a total hardbody, well, many men would put the reputation to one side. After all, what do they care about that if they're going to get a shag out of it? But for this one's wife, the fact is that she's losing her physical appeal, if she had any in the first place, and that there are much more attractive women around, younger than her, that pose a considerable threat to her by way of competition. Not that that would prevent this one's wife from trying. Remember, she's driven by her narcissism. That is the engine at the heart of her, which will basically be saying, go get 'em, girl. Flirt with them. Bat your eyelids at them. Harry, who's he? All that matters to her is the pursuit of the prime aims, to control people around her, to get that fuel, to get those character traits and those residual benefits. And money is a massive residual benefit to this one's wife. Now, I'm not saying that she'd meet with any success in trying to pull Bezos away from Lauren Sanchez. I don't think Bezos would be interested, and I don't even think that Sanchez would allow her to spend any time near her husband. Ditto, I don't think Gates would be interested, nor the Zuck. But that's not going to stop this one's wife from at least trying to gain their attention, to flirt with them, to have an involvement with them, because her narcissism demands it. It might not be even those three. She might have targeted somebody else. Of course, there were no cameras present in the bash itself. We only saw pictures of people arriving. But do understand that as a consequence of this one's wife's narcissism, it would have been urging her to engage in flirtatious interaction with notable individuals in the attempt to bag a billionaire. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.